Let's see another problem from the LeetCode. This is a hard problem. We'll try to understand this problem and then we'll find the way how to solve this. So the problem says that minimum window substring. So this is the given string, and there is another string here, and we need to find out the substring from here that contains ABC. So in this substring, it doesn't matter, if this A comes in the first or not, but one thing we have to make sure, all the character of this T present in a substring, and we have to find out that. But another condition is, we have to find the minimum window substring. So if you say the minimum window, so if you see the ABC, come here, you'll find the A will be here and the C here. So this is the one of the substring that contains all the character of this ABC. But if you count this 1 2 3 4 5 6, that is the length is 6, and we check another substring, and if the substring length is less than this, then we can take that. So we have to find out the minimum substring that contains each character of this ABC. So again, move here and then BANC. So here it's a BANC. That's another substring that contains each character of the T. A is also present, B also present, and C also present. So this is also a substring. So this is the minimum. So this is our result. So that's we need to find out how to solve this. We are going to use the window sliding technique and the map. We'll use the map. So for this, we'll create the two map. M1, I say that M1 map for S, and the M2 map for this T. So we'll create the two map, and what we do, we add each character of this T to the M2 map, and then we'll start iterating this string, and then when we see that this A present in a M2, that's the M2 map where we store this ABC. So that's called M2, and for this I'm saying M1. So if you say that A present, if you see A present in a M2, yeah, that's present M2 map, then we can store A in a M1. And like this, D will not store D, O will not store B. So B is here, we'll store B in a M2 map, and then we'll come here in the C, we'll find the C, and we'll store C also in a M2 map. And we also keep checking the M2 map, whatever M2 map contains, that's matches with T or not. So whatever is in the ABC, that should be exactly over there. If the ABC, ABC is in a M2 map, the M1, whatever the contents is the M1, that is in a M2 map, that means we found the result, and this is one of our result. So we found the result, and then when we find the result, we do two things. One thing is, first we'll create this count, and we'll say create the count, and we'll update the index, this index and this index, because this is our solution, so that we can get this index. So that's the one thing we'll do. And the second thing what we do now, we found the string, so now we remove this A from this M1 map, because we have already stored ABC. So we want to move the left pointer, and again we want to continue from here. So first of all, we'll remove this A. So we'll check if A exists in a M1. Of course, yeah, that's M1, it exists. So we'll remove from there, and we'll move the left pointer here, and like this again we'll keep continuing. And as soon as M2 and M1 match, again we'll say that's found the result, and we'll compare whether that's the minimum or not. If it is a minimum, then we'll store that index, and that will be our final result. So let's write the code. So that's the basic ideas about this. So let's do that. First, let's create the two map M1, and it's a map byte. For the character, I'm using the byte here and the int. So that's the m1 map. Let's create the m2 map also. Make map byte int, and store each item of the t in a m2. So let's iterate this. Less than t I plus plus, then m2. In a m2 we are storing this t m2 ti plus 1. So if already exists, then we can increment the counter. If there is nothing, then that will be 0 by default. So we did this, and then the second thing is now we are going to iterate this string. For that we need to put our left pointer to 0 and the again start loop with the right pointer to 0 and r less than length of s plus plus. So this loop iterates each and every character from this s. Let's create 3 more variables here. One is index 1, index 1 0, index 2 0, then I can just say the result. So result is not exactly result, but we want to say what is the count of this. So I can say the minimum count, and in the beginning I want to put some max number, so that here when we see the less we can update that. And of course this is 6, length is 6 is less than whatever the max we put. So math dot max int. Okay, we did that. Now we'll iterate each and check whether a exists in a m2 or not. If it exists, then we can store that in a m1. So first if okay, we'll checking that exists in a m2. So m2, and that is sr. If it exists, okay, then we store this thing to m1. So let's copy this, change to m1 first map plus 1. Okay, so in this way we just keep iterating, and then the time comes when we reach to C, our pointer reach to C, and then in this time we have the ABC, and that's exactly m1 contain ABC and m2 has also ABC. Then we found the result. So that thing we need to check here. Like I can say m2, just I'll write some function below, m2 in m1. Yeah, so m2 in a m1. I can whatever the name, I can just put the m1. So as you iterate, we put that item in a m1. So I'm just checking if the m1 and m2 both map are same. So we can say m1 in m2 and pass the m1 and m2. If this is the true, then we'll do 2 things, because we found this, at least we found one result. So we'll update this index. So in this case we'll see that current count is equal to current count for this result. So r is here and the l is here, so that means r minus l plus 1. So that's the count. We'll check if current count less than this min count. If it is less than min, then we'll update min count. And of course this is a less, because the min count has some highest number here, so I can put that in a min count. So current count, and we'll update the index. So index 1, or I can index 1, or in begin index or end index. So that's better name, put that begin index, and that's the end index. So I can say begin index is our left pointer and end index is right pointer. So first thing we found the result here, and then we updated that. And the second thing we'll delete this character from the M1, because we have stored that M1. Now we found the match, and then we'll delete from there and then move the left pointer and also move the right pointer and continue and do the same thing. So here so if you want to delete this, then first check if exists in a map 2, so that is SL, the L to the left pointer. Okay, if that exists, then only we want to delete. So if the counter is more than 1, then we'll decrement. If the counter is 1 or less, then delete. Then I will say that if counter greater, it's a counter, this counter cnt count, not a counter, count, this count greater than 1, then we want to decrement the item from this M2. Else if counter less than is equal to 1, then just delete that item from M2. This is not from the M2 but M1, because M2 is for T. M2 is for the T. This one we stored in M1, so we want to delete from the M1 here. So delete M1 and that SL, and then we delete that our if is here, and then move the left pointer to right here. And then as soon as we move the left pointer here, and then again we'll check this condition M1 in M2, because we have already deleted A, so this time doesn't match, then R pointer we move. And then again if some character comes, whatever that exists in this M2, we store that in a M1, and as soon as we get this, we'll get another result, and we'll check this count, and we'll update this begin and end index, and that's the result at the end. So that's all. At the end we can return from S begin index, end index plus 1 we can do, and if begin index, what's the value I initialize the begin index, let's initialize with -1, because there's a chance if it is still -1, then return nothing. Okay, so that's all about the function. Let's create this function, and then we'll run. M1 and M2 is the type is map, it's a byte, then int return boolean. We'll check if length of M1 not equal to length of M2, then return false. So we'll check for the length. At the end we'll return true. We'll also do one more check. We'll check each character of the M1 exists in a M2 or not. So we'll do like this. We'll iterate M2, so K V, and it's a range M2, so M2 ABC, so we'll get ABC. So the key is A and the V is the count, how many number A is in this map. So we have this, and we'll check the same character count in a M1. So we'll check if in a M1, if that key, this key in a M1, that key is what is the count, what is the value of this value less than V, then return false. So what does this mean? So if some like A, B, C, like A count is 1 in this M1, and the A count is 2 here, so in that case we want to return false, because we want to have exact the same thing whatever the T has in a m1 also. So that's the logic. Let's run this. That's a new variable, so need this and run. If index out of font by, we have check less than is r++, that's good. m1 and then we'll check. So this one, like you can say, it's a comment, it's a found result, and here delete left character from m1 and increment L pointer. That's the two things we do. 1 and 2. So m1 and then we're saying SL. Okay, so index, maybe this L go beyond that, so beyond the length. So I can just make one more condition: if L greater than equal to length of S, then just return. Do not want to do anything here. Let's run it. Return, no, not a return, it's a loop, so break. Okay, so which line is line 51, begin index and end index. Let's check once again. L0, R0 and M2, M2. If this A exists in M2, then we can store, oh, this should be, yeah, M1, yes. Accepted, submit. Okay, let's see the Java solution. The same logic I have put here. See the description. So I have created the M1 for this string, M2 for this string, and this block stores ABC in a map and the begin index and index. And we are iterating this this one, and we're checking if this A exists in map 2, then we store that in a map 1. So that's a character. If the M2 contains that CH, then we can store that in a M1. And when we found M1 in M2, exactly both map has the same character, then we'll do two things. We'll update the result and we'll start deleting the character from the map and move the left pointer, and that's all. And this is our M1 in M2 function. So that's all for today. Thank you.